Why twin flames separate or experience periods of separation in the physical 3D world. Separation feels very unnatural for twin flames, which is why so many twins will report experiencing very uncomfortable feelings, sensations, even bodily manifestations, conditions in their physical body through these periods of separation from a twin flame. It's because it feels jarring to the soul at some level to be perceiving this physical disconnect between ourselves and the other soul with whom we are so intensely, deeply, and inseparably intertwined with at the soul level, at the energy level. But why does twin flame separation occur in the first place, especially if it comes with, at many times, a lot of pain and a lot of these negative feelings and sensations? And that is what we are going to be discussing in today's podcast, the top 5 reasons or causes for twin flame separation. But first, let me introduce myself. My name is Infinity, and this is Magnetize Yourself, where we talk about life, love, spirituality, and of course, the law of attraction. Be sure to click the subscribe button so you can join our beautiful community of like-minded, conscious, creative beings here on YouTube, and also so that you get updated and notified whenever I post new content. The number one, or really the first cause of twin flame separation, although it may also be a dominant cause of separation, is a feeling of unworthiness of love. And when I talk about love, I am not talking about society's definition or understanding of love, which, as many of us know, has a lot of flaws involved, or what I really should say, there are a lot of differences between the traditional, conventional understanding of love and twin flame love, which is unconditional love. So when one twin flame counterpart has consciously met or interacted with their twin flame, with their divine counterpart, with whom they share this extremely intense, unconditional love bonds, if that person does not feel worthy of unconditional love at the conscious or the subconscious level, because these patterns of unworthiness are often very subconscious. But if the pattern of unworthiness is there, again, whether they are consciously aware of it or not, they will naturally push away their twin flame counterparts in the physical world. Now, on the surface, this might sound really counterintuitive. Why would you push away the very one offering you this beautiful, deep, intense, unconditional love connection? But if you look at human nature and us as human beings, you will notice that we will not accept in our lives what we do not believe we deserve. It all must begin with reconnecting with our own worthiness. We see this play out not just in love connections or twin flame connections, but in all areas of our life. If we don't believe we are worthy of a certain job or career path, we are never going to pursue it. If we don't believe that we are worthy of connecting authentically in friendships with other people, we aren't going to put ourselves out there. We are going to close ourselves off from, at times, the very things that we desire to experience the most. And the same is true for twin flame connection. If one twin flame is carrying a pattern of unworthiness related to receiving unconditional love, if they aren't an open receiver for true, pure, loving energy, if they're closing themselves off to fully being loved, then unconditional love, especially the pure, unconditional love that is exchanged inevitably and effortlessly between twin flame counterparts, will be so incredibly intense to this twin that it will actually feel uncomfortable to be so completely loved in such an unconditional way. And very often, the twin who is having their unworthiness patterns triggered in this way, will tend to temporarily go back to places, people, situations where they are experiencing a lesser form of love, a more conditional love that matches their unworthiness patterns and paradigms, and therefore causes them to feel more comfortable because it is not only familiar to them at that stage, as they are still in the process of transforming those paradigms, it is still more familiar, but not only familiar, also comfortable and safe feeling to them to essentially be less loved, to be loved more conditionally, to be less intensely seen and understood. Now, because so many of these patterns and paradigms are deeply unconscious, it requires of us as twin flames to really become conscious of the unconscious. In fact, becoming conscious of our own unconscious energy patterns and subconscious thought patterns, which actually create those energy patterns, is one of the most powerful ways to quickly take back our power, shift our energy in a radical way, and creates a kind of magnetic field around us in our aura for whatever we desire to create or attract in our lives. And addressing the subconscious is so essential because it's actually the subconscious mind that controls 95% of our thoughts, actions, and outcomes in life. So when it comes to twin flame connection, because so many of these so-called blocks, in fact, every cause and reason we are going to discuss in this podcast for twin flame separation is created by some kind of deeply unconscious, or usually very unconscious, energy pattern that is actually mirrored between the twins that then creates this perceived disconnect between them that we then call separation. But the closer we return to our core soul authentic frequency, the more we peel back those layers of subconscious programming, creating blocks that actually disconnect us from ourselves, which is why they disconnect us from our twin, because our twin is our mirror soul. The more we peel back those layers and radiate more authenticity and pure, unconditionally loving energy, the closer we are magnetically pulled effortlessly to our twin flame. But in order to bridge twin flame separation, it must begin within the self. So to assist you with this deep subconscious mind reprogramming, and to help you magnetize your energy with unconditional love, to effortlessly bridge the gap between yourself and your twin, I have created a twin flame 7-chakra clearing subliminal. Now, subliminals are particularly powerful for addressing and reprogramming the subconscious mind because they contain affirmations that your conscious mind can't fully comprehend, which means these affirmations can bypass the filter of the conscious mind and make deep, lasting and rapid changes on the subconscious, which in the case of twin flames will rapidly begin to shift your energy, magnetize you for greater connection within your twin flame path and experience, and will really help you to release and remove any blockages that are creating these states of separation, which truly again begin in an energetic state of separation. So this subliminal comes from my website, soundandsoulful.com. As you can see on the screen, on this website, I have created over 100 subliminals for all areas of life. So there are subliminals for physical appearance changes, for mood shifts like confidence and happiness, for anxiety relief, for love and relationships, for manifesting specific things like money or business success, and of course for twin flames. I have a special collection of subliminals specifically for those of you on the sacred twin flame path. So you can try out this twin flame 7 chakra clearing or any other subliminal I've created completely free for 7 days by creating a free trial account on my website, which again is soundandsoulful.com. And all of that information is linked under this video in the pinned comment and description box. The second reason twin flames separate is because there is a runner-chaser situation, a kind of push-pull dynamic going on in the connection. And specifically, whenever we label one twin flame counterpart as the so-called runner, we tend to, from our human perspective, focus really externally on how one person appears to be, quote unquote, running away from the other. But for twin flames, for this very unique and rare soul bond, soul connection, the runner-chaser dynamic is so much deeper than our ego, our human minds is led to believe. And this is because when someone is running from their true divine counterpart, when they are pulling away, withdrawing, seemingly without reason, the reason that they are running at the core is because to some degree and in some respects, that person is running from themselves, meaning they are running from their true, most authentic, most unconditionally loved and loving self in some respects. Now, of course, we could do an entire video, in fact, probably dozens or hundreds of videos on all of these specific ways in which a particular person could be running or why they could be running from their twin, because there are many different unique forms of wounds and blocks that come up within the runner that trigger them to want to pull away, to want to withdraw. But essentially, the key is here that in these cases, when there is a runner situation, this so-called separation is a divine space for these so-called runner to be able to sit with themselves, to fully become comfortable with and connect with themselves. Because it's only through this self-reconnection, which for some twins and in some situations, ideally, it's ideal for them, although it doesn't ever feel ideal at the time from their soul's perspective. Sometimes when things get incredibly triggering and incredibly intense between the twins, these periods of what we call separation are actually beautiful times of holding space, of making space for each counterpart to really fully and deeply reconnect with themselves. And in that self-reconnection, we always find our twin flame. We are always drawn back to our true twin. The third cause of twin flame separation is that there are karmic interferences. There is something that must be balanced out for one or both twins. In fact, if there is a karmic situation, inherently there is some kind of mirroring effect taking place within both twins. They are both holding on to some kind of negative energetic pattern that could simply be manifesting itself in different ways in each of their lives. And then we often look at those manifestations and call them karmic situations. Now, these karmic so-called interferences, although there's another word that's just like separation, it's all a construct of our human ego minds, because there is no separation. There are no true interferences between twin flames, but these are things that appear to create blocks or obstacles, appear to create separation between twins. So these can be other relationships or connections, either platonically or romantically. These can also be differences in belief systems or artificial belief systems that one or both twins are programmed with that are disconnecting them from themselves or from their knowing of true unconditional love. These can also be addictions, negative behavior patterns, negative spirals of thinking that we tend to fall into. All of these so-called karmic interferences are brought to the surface through these periods of separation to be illuminated and for us to shift and heal, because only through shifting out of these so-called karmic situations, which are actually just manifested energetic wounds and patterns, can we stabilize the energy within ourselves? Can we hold that energetic openness, that flow state, so to speak, where we're fully, clearly allowing the energy to flow in, fully receiving unconditional love, and also fully being open to giving that love to others and to ourselves as well. Only then are we able to fully sustain long-term manifested connection that we sometimes call reunion with our twin flame. Because again, twin flame love is so intense because of its unconditional nature that if we were to not work through these karmic interferences and attempt to form this union state with our twin flame, what would happen is we would end up intensely triggering one another, until that triggering itself becomes so intense that once again, we have to pull away or create space for a period of time to heal those wounds and patterns, to essentially heal and balance that karmic energy. The fourth cause of twin flame separation is because there is some manifested disconnect coming from an obstacle. Let's call it an obstacle that your souls jointly choose to experience in this life, and I'm talking on a soul level here, in order to overcome. Now, this might sound a bit confusing, but twin flames set many different soul intentions for their path prior to incarnating in a lifetime. Now, although they receive hints and clues about these intentions, they are also experiencing, of course, that human soul amnesia that we all experience when we incarnate here. So they might not remember the specifics of what they chose as souls or why, but they will give each other clues and hints to lead them like a trail of breadcrumbs along the way through life. And some of these soul intentions are around specific ways in which certain sets of twins are choosing to bridge specific divides. You see, all twins are perfectly placed, meaning divinely placed where they are on the planet when they are. So there could be an age gap between twins. They could be born in different eras or decades. All of this happens for a reason. It's part of our soul's intentions. Everything about our lives is much more intentional than our human self realizes. So twin flames specifically are here to break down paradigms that are keeping people separate. So somewhat ironically, they will come to Earth intentionally choosing to experience certain forms of disconnect or what we see as separation between themselves and their twin flame counterpart. Because through the bridging of those divides, through the overcoming of that separation with their twin, they are actually building bridges across human collective consciousness and breaking down divides that keep us feeling separate at the global collective level from one another. So these obstacles can be so many different things, but some of the most common ones for twin flames are a geographical distance, an age gap, as we mentioned earlier, cultural differences in belief system, anything that is creating some kind of divide between yourself and your twin in the physical, or some kind of perceived separation that seems almost inherent to your upbringing. It was just part of who you are or part of who they are, which really means that it was part of how you were programmed to believe that you should be or that you had to be. And that's really what's being peeled back here through bridging these divides. Now, finally, the fifth cause of twin flame separation is quite simply the fear of being fully seen. Now, this can be understood through such a simple comparison, which is when someone doesn't like the way that they look, they are going to avoid mirrors. And this simple comparison makes sense when it comes to twin flame connection, when we remember that our twin flame energetically is our perfect mirror. So when there is something that we are afraid to fully see, embrace, acknowledge, or accept about ourselves, because unconsciously we have the awareness that we cannot hide that thing from our twin, that they see it fully, completely, that they see us in all of our openness, vulnerability, and transparency. If we are not ready to be that open, to be that authentic or vulnerable, even with ourselves, if we're trying to hold up, or our twin is trying to hold up any elements or aspects of illusion or self-deceit, then naturally there is going to be the unconscious pushing back against the one who can and does see them so completely, no matter how well they try to hide from others or even from themselves. So as I mentioned previously in this video, really, twin flame separation is a perceived state of being that is unnatural to twins because, of course, at the energy level, we are always interconnected, even during these times of 3D disconnect or separation. So bridging these periods of separation isn't about changing or doing anything on the external. It's about turning within ourselves and uprooting those negative programs, limiting beliefs, and patterns that become deeply embedded in our subconscious, way down our energy field, and keep us stuck in periods of disconnect and divide. So my 7th chakra twin flame clearing is a really powerful tool to assist you in continuing to release these blocks and limiting beliefs so you can really magnetize your energy for unconditionally loving frequency and create and cultivate more manifested, consistent physical connection with your twin flame as well. And the link to that twin flame 7th chakra clearing is in the pinned comment and description box under this video. Have a beautiful, wonderful rest of your day, and I will talk to you again in the next podcast.